So everything sucks. Everything sucks right now. Everything's expensive. It just feels like anything that exists in the world that you have to use is all about trying to get top dollar out of you, every last penny out of you. I was having this thought the other day of went to the gas station to put air in my tires. So those of you that are old enough to understand what I'm talking about, I remember when like you'd go to a gas station, it was just a given. They would have an air pump there for free to put air in your tires. That's you don't see that anymore. Like even something like that, just super small. Just everything is about getting the last dollar out of you. We don't trust our institutions, rightfully so. Politics has become a total joke in our country, across the world. Um, People aren't trusting religion like they used to. We've lost touch with community, with each other. We're isolated. Just everything sucks. Everything sucks. So realistically, does every actual thing suck? Does everything suck? Every literal thing? No, of course not. But but it feels like everything sucks. I think that's the hard thing right now. Is it feels like everything sucks, and so I think we're all in this space where we're really trying to figure that out. We're really trying to understand why is it that I'll wake up, you go to your job, you do what you're supposed to do, and at the end of the day, it's like you're just so exhausted. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to connect with anybody. And then you feel guilty for not wanting to connect with anybody. You don't feel guilty, or you feel guilty for not doing enough, not spending enough time with your friends, with your kids, with your dogs, whatever it is. All the things that we feel like we know we should be doing. We just don't have the energy to do anymore. And it feels like we're on this treadmill that's just going faster and faster and faster. It's just slowly over time. It's just been slowly speeding up a little, like not enough to really notice, not enough to notice it's speeding up. But then when we pause and we look back right now, like the last 5, 10, 15 years, it's wow, this actually sped up a lot, and I'm really tired, and I can't keep doing this. And there's like this feeling, like this ambient feeling, this ambient kind of background anxiety that's just been building. It's just been getting louder and louder and louder. And we're not exactly sure what it is. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen. We know it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. And I got to thinking of, yeah, however, there's like a big nostalgia kick, I think, so I'm 44 years old. So I think those of us that are fortunate, maybe not fortunate, I don't know, that we know what life was like before the internet, before social media, that we're in this really weird transition of knowing both, which feels really hard because it does feel like for humanity, there's an element of life before the internet and life after the internet. And it's, we're thankful that we got to live life before the internet in a much more simple time. And it's also like we're homesick for this place that doesn't exist anymore. We're homesick for this place we want to go back to and just can't. It's just not, doesn't exist anymore. We can't go back there, which is just adds this really depressing feeling to it, right? Like we're in that world, but not really. It's a totally different place. So it feels like I kind of think of like before, the internet was ingrained into everything. It used to be like, hey, Dad, get off the phone. I've got to get on the internet. It's like I had to go home. I'm going to go home tonight and get on the internet. I'm going to like put in the AOL CD so I can get some internet. And it was like this tool that you could use as needed, where now it's just in everything, right? Like your phone, and obviously I get the irony of me making a YouTube video to connect with people on the internet, but it's in everything, right? Like complete homes are being built that way, like smart homes where everything's connected to the internet. This is like dated information, but I was reading an article that was talking about like the average home I think it was 2024. The average home in 2024 has 20, 30 plus devices connected to the internet, and a fair amount of those being cameras. And just how connected we are, which is not breaking news, how connected we are is a direct result of how disconnected we are from ourselves, from each other, from our communities, from just all the things that we think we're supposed to enjoy. So there's also like another aspect that I feel like there's definitely going to be like an analyze, like a view looking back in history of life before internet, human life after the internet, and how it was altered. I feel like COVID is in there, like a pandemic, and not getting into the political side of that, how it started, why it started, all that stuff. No matter what your views are on the pandemic, we all went through that, and it was awful, right? Like, so there's also pre-COVID and post-COVID, and I was thinking about this, and I feel like going through a pandemic really accelerated kind of what technology was already doing to us, right? So if you kind of recall back to when COVID had first started, and it was really scary and really unknown, we didn't know what was going to happen, and like we're having lockdowns, there's civil unrest. A lot of the feeling that we were having was, I remember this vividly, was when's this going to end? Like, when's COVID over? Right? We wanted to have like restrictions lifted. We wanted to get back to normal. We wanted to have it like there would be a switch and there would be a day that it was over. And it feels like it took a few years, right? Because COVID started in 2020 and we're now in 2025, which is wild. But there was a time where we just thought, okay, is it this summer? Is hey, like we're all paying attention to the trends of COVID cases going up and going down. And if they're going down, okay, well, COVID's over, and it never ended. It just never ended, right? Like there was never, okay, the pandemic's done. It's over. I think what feels hard, what feels depressing about it is we didn't know it, but we never were going to go back to how life was before. It was over. It was like, that's even before COVID, like 2010s, 2000s, it's never going to happen again. It was almost like a pandemic abruptly cut us off from that without us realizing we're not going to go back to that. And it's just been this slow creep into a new quote unquote normal, a normal that feels like a shell of what life used to feel like. Almost like we were given this now, like, hey, congratulations on going through a pandemic. Congratulations on being isolated. Congratulations on losing out on a lot of things you should have had. Congratulations on going through all the suffering. Your reward is you get to go back to this almost Twilight Zone version of what life used to look like. Enjoy. And so I understand how depressing this is, and there's going to be some takeaways here. I always try to have at least some sort of a positive spin. I've just noticed I'm generally an optimistic person. I'm generally pretty positive. I'm generally solution focused, but even this last little bit has just kicked my ass as well. Like it has been hard this last little bit. I started this channel a couple months back with the idea of just like offering people ideas on like shifting their perspectives and learning and growing. And that's still what it's about. But right now it's almost just like with everything that's gone on recently in our country and politically with shootings and everything else. What I've started to realize is what happened with COVID was this accelerated period of growth for humanity, where my last video I talked about, it was kind of like about midlife crisis. And in midlife crisis, you're having this awakening, right? Like you're realizing that your life's short. You're realizing that someday you're going to die, which is a good thing because it makes you wake up to how you've been living. And it's kind of like, how do I want to live kind of the second half of my life? What things do I want to shed that don't serve me anymore? What lessons do I want to take and move and grow and move forward? It almost feels like the world, like humanity is having a midlife crisis, almost like all of society has realized with the explosion of technology and social media and everything that just wants to get your attention and your money, we've suddenly realized, coming out of a pandemic and into a kind of a newer reality, that this stuff just doesn't mean what we thought it meant. Like all the material things and like chasing money and chasing cars and distractions and social media and just buying things and all of it. It's like we still do it, but we're just starting to realize how empty it feels. Like I still do these things. I still buy some of these things. I still go to work because you're supposed to go to work. I still go to the gym because you're supposed to go to the gym. I'll still go on vacations because you're supposed to go out and you're supposed to have fun. But there's just this aching thing behind it that just doesn't feel right. Like something just doesn't feel right about it. And I heard somebody talking about this, and they said that one of the gifts that we're given as humans, as opposed to other living species, is that we've been given the gift of knowing that we're going to die, which is, I can be kind of like a little dark with my humor. I can be kind of melancholic about things. So I can kind of laugh. I'm like, is that a gift really, to know you're going to die? It's like, that sounds like a curse. Thanks for the perpetual anxiety. Even though I do think it's a gift, because obviously that helps us in a general sense of like, yeah, that means I've got to appreciate life. I've got to appreciate my loved ones. I've got to appreciate my dogs, my kids, my health. If I'm fortunate enough to have that, is I need to be more in the moment. The interesting thing about that gift is knowing, being aware of our own mortality. Is a lot of our society and a lot of our lives are built around trying to unknow that, trying to forget that we learned, that we know we're going to die, that we know we're going to age, we're going to lose things. Like the people that matter to me are going to die. I'm going to die. The things that matter to me will decay and break down. Like essentially, we're going to lose everything. Everything will die, including us. And that feels heavy. That feels scary. Loss is really hard. And so we start to feel like the combination of a lot of our escapes becoming empty, or us maybe just seeing through them now, as us really waking up to the realization of a lot of things that we've been doing to escape how we're feeling are just not effective anymore. And what does that leave us with? So now, as a society, we need to feel the hard stuff. And I think what's really hard about kind of coming into this new normal is no one knows what that means. No one knows where society's going to go right now. It just feels like it's going in a really scary direction, because we're starting to feel, and we don't like what we're feeling, but we need to feel what we're feeling. So I have some takeaways on this, because I think it's important. I'm very big on just feeling what you're feeling. It's okay to acknowledge that stuff sucks, because some things just suck. You don't want to stay there. It's not good to stay there. I think no matter how hard and different and new things feel, like the challenges feel for humanity, I feel like a lot of the messages still stay the same, where it's like focusing on what you can. And I would say takeaway number one is that we need to start feeling. And that means the hard things. That means when you're feeling sad, you need to let yourself feel sad. When you're feeling anxiety, even if it's panic, as someone who suffers from anxiety and panic, that's excruciating to sit through a panic attack, through anxiety, through existential dread, through feeling like life doesn't have a purpose. Anger, just any of what we would call negative emotions. We need to start feeling these. We need to start listening to these. We need to start viewing life as something that we experience, that we don't have to run from. That's not even to our own fault, just how society's created. That's the gadgets we keep in our hand are designed to keep you in a state of anxiety and running from your thoughts and running from your feelings and being distracted and getting your money and your attention. That's exactly what it's designed for. We need to start detaching them from that. And we do that by starting to feel, to allow ourselves to feel all of the emotions. That includes the challenging things that are coming up right now. That includes stepping away from things like distractions, like TV, your phones, social media, overusing things like sleeping too much, working too much, going to the gym too much. Anything that we're using that we know we're using as an escape from what we're really feeling, it means we're really disconnected from ourselves, and we need to start reconnecting with ourselves, which means letting yourself feel. And I don't think you have to do this like drinking out of a fire hose. Maybe this means you're monitoring how often you're on your phone and how long you're on your phone. You just notice that tendency when you're sitting and your phone's sitting down, just that urge to want to grab it and just stop sometimes and just like, hey, make myself wait 30 more seconds before I grab it. And just notice what I'm feeling. Why do I have such an urge to reach for my phone all the time? That's everybody. I'm just as guilty. But start to listen, sit with yourself. And so it's kind of turned into like Instagram buzzwords, Instagram therapy is like, you got to meditate. And like, there's truth to that. But it's like, meditation is hard. There's kind of like this perception of people will teach meditating like it's just this, like you sit down for 10 minutes and there's just clouds and a sunrise and it's like, oh my God, the world's amazing. No, meditation is brutal. If you're a person that's in any way feeling, in any way you have any shred of compassion for what's going on in the world, sitting with your thoughts right now is hard, is really hard, which is why we need to be doing it. Just sit with yourself, just to let yourself feel, not to fix it, but just to feel, to acknowledge that. Start finding small ways to just feel a little more. Notice when you have a tendency to avoid and try to slow that down a little more. Another takeaway I would say is finding ways to unplug more, and kind of like I was just talking about, that's involving feeling. But it's also just unplugging, meaning slowing down. Don't be in such a hurry to do everything. Like I do this as a therapist. One of the daunting, awful sides of therapy that everyone hates as a therapist is the documentation. And so, for example, for me, I'll be at my computer just typing as fast as I can to try to get caught up on my notes. And it's like, stop. Like, slow down, type slower. You're not in a hurry to do this. If I'm walking to do something, I purposely walk a little bit slower. I try to slow myself down because I want to train my nervous system to not constantly be in a hurry. Like we're in such a hurry because everything is designed for maximum productivity, and you get everything and multitask it as fast as you can, as many things as you can, as quick as you can. We've really got to slow that back down. Just like whatever you're doing throughout the day, unplug from the urgency. Just allow yourself to slow down. Allow yourself to feel bored sometimes. Like we have completely lost the ability to be bored. I actually say that's the takeaway. Not just unplug. Start being bored. Start allowing yourself to be bored and stop thinking of boredom as a bad thing. Our nervous systems are on edge. We're over caffeinated. We're completely burned out. We're just run ragged. And our nervous systems are just crying like, slow down. Just whatever it is that you're doing, try to do it slower. Slow down. The world's not going to burn if you slow down a little bit. The last takeaway I would say is the whole world feels like it's on fire, and you cannot fix or change the whole world. None of us can. All you have is your vote. And I'm not talking about your political vote. There's nothing about this is political. I'm talking about all you have control over is yourself and how you choose to live your life. It's funny, I'm drinking this tea now, which is me trying to slow down. So at the end of the night, I've been practicing like drinking like this kava tea and chamomile tea, and I actually like it, oddly enough. I didn't think I would. It does help you relax, but it's this Yogi brand. They got these like, clever little sayings on the tags. They're going to be like uplifting. I thought it was really interesting that when I was making tea before making this video, that the tag says, inner peace creates peace in the world. That is how we move through where we're at right now. No one knows where that's going to go. No one knows where we're going to land. No one knows how long this is going to go on. And I think that as humanity, I think we're in for a really long road. This could be a multi-generational thing of society correcting back to where we need to be to find peace again. But it starts with you finding peace in your life. And that is going to be different for everybody. There's no blueprint there. And I think some of the ways I think of is we need to connect back to each other. We need to connect back with ourselves, with our community. Start small. Like, start saying hi to your neighbor. Start waving to people when you're at the grocery store, and we all do the dreaded, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. Start being honest. Like, if somebody seems a little stressed out, like the cashier seems stressed out, like, hey, how you doing? Good. How's your day going? If their day's going shitty, ask about it. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, just start acknowledging each other. Start connecting with each other. Just start finding small ways to be disconnected from the internet, disconnected to your phone, more in the moment. That's probably the best thing that we can do right now, is be in the moment. Even when it feels hard, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling frustrated, when you're feeling scared, sit with your body and just feel that. We need to feel right now. This is the whole point, is all of our ways of escape are running out, and this is good. It does not feel good, but it is good. This is what we need to do right now, because it feels like everything sucks. And in some ways it does, and it's okay to acknowledge that. But we need to be more in the moment with things. Thanks for watching.